using AI to see what Sims 4 townies would look like in real life, but I don't know how to use AI and they get progressively worse. Okay, so this is the original image and the next one is, oh my god, she looks like she's been through some things. Yes, she does. Okay, what's the next? Oh my god, why has she got, oh my god, she's almost got kind of like emo hair. It's like scene hair, do you know what I mean? Have the boobs got bigger? Should we go back? The boobs have got bigger and more defined. At least, see in this one, her top is wrinkly. At least she's ironed her top in this one. Oh my god, there's 6 in total. I'm terrified to see the next one. Oh my god, that looks even worse. Okay, the top has got creased again, although she looks quite muscular and lean. Seems she has some Botox. Does it get worse? Oh my god, now we are, oh my god, does she look like Avril Lavigne a little bit? Okay, the last one. Okay, now she just turns into a furry. The last one, she's like, I'm out of this. I'm just a furry. I'm living my best life. I'm a werewoman. I'm a cat lady. Custom worlds in Sims 2. Custom worlds in Sims 3. Custom worlds in Sims 4. I didn't mean to start this video as a rant about the Sims 4. I can't help what came up first. Just to show you guys how awesome this is, if you just Google like Sims 3 custom content worlds, look at all the stuff that comes up. Like, look at it. Somebody made GTA Vice City. Just casually, as you do in The Sims 3. Yep, the whole world is functionable. The great thing is, all of these buildings you can see in this picture, you can live in those. They're all livable buildings. Like, every single lot is functionable. You want something a little bit more peaceful? Here we have Mesa Grande. Mesa Grande. As you can see, it's a smallish world, but it's got a lot of stuff and it looks very peaceful and nice. The reason why I think The Sims 4 would never do this is because they would want to keep it behind a paywall, which I think is really sad, because The Sims 3 literally has an official create a world tool. Like, anybody can create a world. It's so much easier than you think it genuinely is. But yeah, another reason why I absolutely love The Sims 3. When you make good progress on a game with no autosave and you notice a loading screen taking longer than usual. See, why does The Sims 4 have no autosave? Like, these days, even Pokemon now has autosave. A game notorious for not having autosave finally is giving in and giving us autosave. Why The Sims 4 doesn't have autosave is beyond me. Especially seeming that these days it's a game known a lot for crashing and being laggy and buggy. I think autosave is necessary now. Especially seeming that The Sims 4 also has a lot of loading screens. Like, a lot. You are spending like 80% of your time in loading screens, 20% time playing the game. That was a little bit dramatic and not scientifically evidentially backed. But you know what I mean. Although, wouldn't it be terrible if your sim died and then the game auto-saved? I guess there would have to be like a separate manual save slot and an auto-save slot, just in case that happened. Has anyone else gotten this phone call? There's something that I have to ask you. To me, it's painfully obvious, but I want to get your take. Do you think we're in a simulation right now? Oh my gosh, the Sims are becoming self-aware. It is official. Sims in The Sims 4 are self-aware. That will be the death of us all when robots come self-aware. I guess the Sims are kind of like robots. They're digital robots. At least they don't have any power over us, because if they did, imagine the revenge they would take on us. We would be screwed. We would literally be screwed. Unless you had a Wicked Whims player, that would be quite fun. Although if you had an extreme violence mod player like me, it would not be very fun. Why is gardening so profitable in The Sims 4? Guess that 500k scenario is going to end soon. Okay, firstly, I just want to ask, how do they have a dark mode? Is there a dark mode in The Sims 4 that makes it like that? Why is it dark? I want that. Secondly, I do believe that gardening is ridiculously overpowerful. It's funny because gardening has honestly been overhauled so many times, yet they still haven't gotten a grasp. Especially when you have a pack installed like Tiny Living, you can really exploit the gardening system. I honestly don't know why it's so overexploited. It's ridiculous. It's one of the biggest criticisms that I have about the game, is that like you can make more money in a couple of days as a gardener than you can in a month in sim time as a famous actor. Like, it is ridiculous. Why aren't these things just like made so much better? Because I love the idea of rags to riches gameplay. I love the idea of making your sim rich, starting off with nothing. And I think one of the biggest problems, one of the reasons why I don't go back to the same save over and over again, is because over time, your sims just make too much money too easily. I just feel like after a couple of in-game weeks of playing, like your sims just have so much money, you don't know what to do with it, and it's so pointless. I think that all money earned from all careers should be halved. Money from gardening should be 5 times reduced. And I think everything needs to be double the price. I think this image is perfect for that my female sims versus my male sims meme. Men get left out. I did a whole video actually on the gender imbalance in The Sims. It has existed ever since The Sims 2 really. I think it's hilarious that honestly, like, there is so much CC custom content for female sims and people always complain like, oh, male sims look ugly. I find it funny say that, like, are male Sims ugly or are you just sexist? Obviously, The Sims 4 has a much bigger female audience base than male audience, and I think one of the biggest criticisms for games where there's a bigger male audience base is that female Sims are often over-sexualized, whereas the male Sims are not. And I find it funny because The Sims 4 as a female-orientated game is actually exactly the same. The female Sims are over-sexualized. They are made to be extremely beautiful, yet nobody really cares about the way the male Sims look. And regardless of whether you're a man or a woman, there's always seemed to be so much more emphasis on women. The Sims has always been a game that's meant to be diverse and play it your way. I would love to see a lot more inspiration and a lot more enthusiasm going into male Sims, not just from EA themselves, but also the Sims community. Are toddlers in Sims 4 broken? So this person is just talking about the frustrations with looking after toddlers in The Sims 4, and I cannot agree more. Obviously, toddlers did not come out in the base game. They were an afterthought. Granted, The Sims 4 came out in 2014 and toddlers came out in 2017. It took like almost 3 years for them to actually give us toddlers, something which literally just should have come in the base game, which to this day is still so disgraceful that they actually took like 3 years to implement it. It's insane. But yeah, because they're an afterthought, it's honestly so frustrating because, for example, a lot of community lots don't have toddler stuff. For example, if you take your toddler sim to Willow Creek Park, there's no toddler potty for them to use. There's no changing room for toddlers. Like, the game was not built for toddlers. Even for a lot of gameplay after the toddler update, it's just not updated for toddlers. They were an afterthought. They are an afterthought. Will always be an afterthought, and that is why they're so broken, unfortunately. The worst thing is the only way to actually get gameplay for toddlers is if you had the toddler stuff pack. So you actually have to pay a premium, something that should have come in the base game. I'm kind of addicted to The Sims 4. This will be a good one. Hi, need a bit of advice? My boyfriend has been pointing out how I play too much almost every day, building my own world and townies and kind of zoning out for a few hours. Honestly, at this point, especially since COVID hit, it's true that I'm addicted. Need it to relax. Think about my active saves at work, spend a lot of time looking at CC, organizing CC, trying new CC, trying scenarios, and so on. One could say I'm passionate about it, but I know I'm doing it because it makes me forget my anxiety. It's a perfect world where I can do anything and control everything. Sometimes I play as supernatural Sims, sometimes medieval theme houses, sometimes teen mum, sometimes prom cream. Even before high school years, mods permitted it. It's never boring to me and I could enjoy the game forever, but my boyfriend is getting worried / annoyed that I'm obsessed. Also, I've been trying to play it less and trying to play more games with him, but I miss The Sims 4 and playing it every day and almost every day. Do you guys think it's unhealthy to play almost every day or a good coping mechanism? See, it is a coping mechanism. Whether it's good or bad, we cannot deny it is a coping mechanism for a lot of people who play The Sims. I get comments on my channel all the time saying, Satch, I'm addicted to The Sims 4, help me, which is kind of funny. I'm not a professional psychologist, I can't help you. But I do think a lot of Simmers use it to fill a void, something which I did in the past when I was younger because I was very lonely, especially as a kid. Like, I didn't have any friends, so I just used to play The Sims all the time. I think I mean, I'm not a professional, but from my personal experience of life, any coping mechanism is a bad one because it distracts you from the problem. I've always been against coping mechanisms and for just throwing yourself in at the deep end and dealing with the problem, even if it causes you more anxiety in the short term. It gets rid of the anxiety in the long term, and from that perspective, I guess it's a bad thing, but like, it's a game that people enjoy, and I think a lot of gamers use games as a coping mechanism. All kinds of role-playing games, whether that be like a GTA, World of Warcraft. People want to live in a fantasy land because they can't deal with the real world, and I think it's one of the bad things. I think it's a stigma about video gaming in general. Like, whenever I play games, like, I'm obsessed with Valorant recently, and people always say to me, like, Satch, you're addicted. You have an unhealthy addiction to Valorant. I don't have an unhealthy addiction. I just enjoy it. Why can't I do something enjoy? If you sit and watch Netflix all day, every day, you don't consider it an unhealthy addiction. It's just considered, oh, normal. But if you're sitting and playing a video game all day, it's like, you're unhealthy. Really, what's the difference? I think a video game is much more stimulating and fun than just like watching something on TV all day. Do you know what I mean? Or like, why would I go to a nightclub every weekend to impress people I don't know and don't care about and waste money on expensive vodka cokes when I could just stay at home and play a video game? Like, there's so much stigma around video gaming, and I do think that, you know, using it as a coping mechanism or using anything as a coping mechanism is bad in my opinion, but I don't think being addicted to The Sims 4 is any worse than being addicted to anything else, apart from illegal substances, obviously. Anyone else bother to name and describe their Sims books? Do you know what? This is something that I've always had a problem with ever since the release of the Sims 4 base game, which is that even though you can change the name and the description of it, it doesn't change any gameplay. I really, really wish there was was an overhaul to writing The Sims 4, because I feel like being an author is a really popular career choice that a lot of Sims do. Can you let me know if like it's something that you really enjoy? Because it's something that I personally have really enjoyed, and I know a lot of other people do, and I would love to see an overhaul, especially if there was an overhaul to likes and dislikes with regards to books and selling them, and being able to write books and having a description come up based on the category. I just think it's a fun idea. Family telling my Sim she's inappropriate. My Sim visited her family from university and I made her bake a cake for her birthday, and her family members kept telling her that she's doing something inappropriate when she has lived in that house forever. Is there a way to stop this? One of the most annoying things about The Sims 4 Discover University, one of the biggest, stupidest oversights, is that you cannot return home, because if you do, you actually get treated as a guest and you can't like basically live in the home. It's honestly so frustrating. Like, of course you can go home at any time from university in the real world and go back to your parents' house, and because it's your home, it honestly drives me insane, because that same thing happened to me, because I tried to visit my Sims parents in the game and they were just like, you can't come in the house. And then when I eventually was able to come in, they were like, you're being inappropriate, just because I was like sleeping in the bed. And I was like, come on, this is ridiculous. Another oversight of The Sims 4. Mods for realistic feet. Are there any Sims 4 mods to make the feet more realistic? I would like it if they had better arches, more spread out toes, and more detailed nails. Are there any feet animations? I would like it if they were more animated and would wiggle a bit. Tell me you have a foot fetish without telling me you have a foot fetish. Oh my god. My window is open and I just said foot fetish very loudly. Accurate students, lol. Is it accurate though? Like in the UK, by the way, you can't have phones in school until you reach senior school or high school. Like when you're younger, you can't really take phones to school. They don't let you usually. Even so, like in senior school, you're only allowed to use your phone on like your lunch breaks and like normal daytime breaks. Like you cannot use it in any other situation. You must only use it like on your lunch break. And if you get seen with it in any other situation, you do get in a lot of trouble. Is this like an American thing that you guys can use your phones anywhere in school? It honestly shocked me. I thought like it was really unrealistic to see Sims constantly on their phone in high school years. A neighbor Sim died on my lot and Grim decided to let his inner cheerleader out before finishing the job. Oh my god, this quality is awful, but don't you think The Sims 4 Grim Reaper is such a baddie? See, I think The Sims 4 Grim Reaper, is he the best Grim Reaper? See, I like The Sims 2 Grim Reaper because The Sims 2 Grim Reaper, does he have an iPad or a clipboard? I think he has a clipboard, but like when he comes out, he's really sassy. He's always like, ugh, another dead person to deal with. Because it's kind of like a joke that all Simmers always kill their Sims all the time, and the Grim Reaper is always like overworked. I think it's kind of funny, coming up with amazing ideas for building or gameplay versus actually trying to implement the ideas where everything goes wrong. That's the thing, The Sims is a very chaotic game. There's always so much going on. See, what I feel like is sometimes it goes wrong in like a really annoying way, but other times it goes wrong in a chaotic and funny way. It just depends. This is an unpopular opinion, but I would actually love it if The Sims had more scripted events that you can't control, because that way I would feel like things would go wrong a lot less. I'm just putting it out there. I know it's a very, 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 very unpopular opinion, but that is my opinion. I love reacting to Sims memes, so make sure you check out the next reaction video here, which is much more hilarious. See you in the next one.